live.
Where are we
Hey,
live?
where are we live is the next question. We're going to check that out right now. Let's check out YouTube and see if we are on YouTube right now. TOWTalk is live. There it. Oh, there we are.
Oh yeah, we are. No shit.
And we're going to share. Okay, so copy um, to watching now. Yeah, we're both watching. Okay, so I've copied the link.
I'm gonna go and copy the YouTube link to my Facebook page.
Okay, so I will. All right. Okay, so what I did is I shut down the my YouTube stream because that's not good. And
So
what
we're
I'll
not live anymore,
no
or are
no
we
no
live?
no 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 I closed. We are live, but if you're watching it at the same time that we're on it, there's going to be feedback.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can't watch it. We can watch it from our
Yes,
phones. So let me go
that's kind of what
into
I figured.
and we can be our own guests. Here we go. I'm already connected to TOWTalk. Let's go to the. All right. Join.
You're
Welcome
gonna have
to
to
our.
tell me when people join us because I'm not gonna be able to see it.
Oh, you can't see the chat? Okay. All
No,
right. I would think you should be able to do. That's not right. All
no,
right.
I'm
Well,
still logging. I'm still logged in as a guest. I don't know why I don't have my own login, but
yeah, you should have your own log. I didn't you create your own login when I made
I
you a.
did. But for some reason, when I log in, it still logs me in as a guest. I don't know why.
Putting that in. I'm just putting that link also in Town of Wallkill United.
Good. I was gonna do that next, but I'm still waiting for it to post.
Okay. And now I can log in as
Oh
myself.
God, who's in the backyard? Somebody's in the backyard of my house. Oh.
Now I can go to TOWTalk, and now I can share this on my page. Huh? How come is the link not working?
No, it just I have to publish it.
No, on
So
my end, I just put the same link down. Oh wait, discard, and oh, that's because I'm sharing. That's right. Okay. All right. Oh, let me let that girl know. What's her name? Maria?
we mean Mary.
Mary. Oh, did I not turn this phone on? I did not. All right, let me come back. All right. Where do we see the guests?
How do we have one like already?
Oh, I might have done that. I always like us. Where's the chat? Okay, so it's just the two of us.
That's what I say. I can't. I can't even see if anybody's watching.
There.
Viewers.
You don't have a menu to your far. Oh, that's because you're a guest. You got to create your own login.
I know. I thought
Like,
I did. I swear to God, I have my own login to this thing, but every
yeah.
time I log in now, it still logs me in as a guest. Let me see if I can.
Let me see what Marty gets.
Let me see.
So two people are connected. There's the people. I need to put this over here so I can see the. And center myself. All right. So I think this is also recording. So that's kind of cool. So we can have some fun and record things. Click on the link. Click. Click the link. Oh, okay. So now what we have is let's go to chat. Neil is there. Studio chat, host and one guest. So we're our own, huh? The link didn't, I thought I sent him the link.
Hold on.
No, to Marty. There we go. Oh, I think I have everything. Okay, that's loading up. Why, it worked for me. Marty, it just worked for me. The link. I just clicked this. Marty, I just clicked the same link. I just clicked the same link and it worked. It's just delayed. Ah, he said it's working. Yeah, it's Marty. It's delayed a few seconds, so I think yeah, I know. It's probably like 10, 15 seconds behind. So this is just a test stream for anybody who joins us. Just hi, Marty. Did, did you give your name, Marty? Because I don't see you in our chat, studio chat. Whisper backstage. You can whisper backstage. So can we? Did you give your name, Marty? Because I don't see you in our chat, studio chat. Whisper backstage. You can whisper backstage.
I'm gonna drop off. Drop off for like 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Yep. Yep. So where's the chat on here? How do I see? All right, so I want to see where the chat is. So for those that are just joining, we are testing out live streaming. This is our first experience with this. So, drop some chats, questions if you have any. I just want to see how this is working because Riverside is supposed to be able to manage the chat for all applications that we connect to. And I'm not seeing that. Upgrade plan. Unlock features used by professionals from the teams of TOWTalk. Neil has Riverside open in other tabs. Yeah, you just made yourself a. Now you're on here twice. Uh, where are the guests? Why are. Okay.
I'm trying to open it in the app. I guess I need to be in the app, but it's not allowing me in your room in the app.
It's live with the TOWTalk podcast. Yes, okay, so there's chat right there. I see a hello. Oh, there we go. Now I can see. If you type messages, I can see. Let me see if I can type back. And we get lots of echoes.
Hold on, I need to go.
Okay, so we are, let's do, you are live with the TOWTalk podcast, and we are just testing this out for the first time. Haven't actually done this before. We're using Riverside as our streaming app, which is what we use for. Hey, welcome back, Neil. Just explaining that we use Riverside FM as our as our podcasting platform, and we have it connected now with YouTube, and we're just testing to see how that works. So if you're popping in, we're just checking that out. And Neil has a lot of feedback coming through his phone. Turn the volume down.
Sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, because I can hear myself talking. So let's see. We got myself, live stream chat. Let me see. Oh, okay. So
We got 3 likes. I don't know who liked us, but we got 3 likes.
Probably Marty, but I don't know if Marty is still. I don't see Marty in the chat.
Yeah, Marty's not on viewing. Yeah.
Let's see. Let me open up. Let me open up another thing here. Okay. Let's see if I can go. Whoops. Let's see. I'm using a different browser. I'm going into Brave. There's some. Let's switch to my personal account. Switch.
This won't need to be shared since we're just testing with everything.
Yeah, well, I figured if people come on and I already did share it, so.
No, I'm saying if we got 3 viewers, somebody jumped on.
It might be me. It might be Marty. It could be someone else. Just say hello.
Hello, welcome. We are live. If you have a question or you want us to, you have a topic you would like to hear about, let us know.
We're testing this out. We have not been live before, but we want to be able to.
They disappeared. Whoever it was jumped off.
Okay.
They obviously didn't like what we were talking about.
Did you see their name?
No, I can't see anything.
You already registered this device. Okay. Continue. Skip this bullshit. Okay, there we go. Ah. Let's see. And that's me. Okay. Now where do I, if I'm a guest, where do I type? Top chat. Live chat. Okay. Now where do I, if I'm a guest, where do I type? Okay, I don't need to learn more. Thank you very much. So there's no chat box over here. So on the side over here, I don't see a chat box. So there's no chat box over here. It was on the phone app. If you're connected, oh, you lost your background.
I know. I'm working on it.
Okay. All right, let me get out of that. Okay. This is going to be, but I can see chats in here within here, so people can't. Please let me know. So if you're watching this and you're guest, for some reason the chat boxing isn't working on YouTube. So we are testing this system because we plan to do some live streams in the near future. Yeah, Neil, if you have too many windows open with any kind of video or stuff going on, it tends to absorb resources and it will kill your background. So usually the solution is you got to just close out your browser entirely and start fresh, and then you can reconnect.
It's not even giving me the option to even see my backgrounds. That's the weird part. I went into the app versus the web browser.
Yeah.
Now I'm in the app, and the app doesn't give you the ability to even change your background.
Okay, that's right. And did you shut yourself out of the browser entirely?
Yeah, I closed my browser. Yeah, but it's not even letting me find the. So weird.
And I can't edit you from here. Actually, recording is higher quality. Thank you. Okay, Neil. Oh wow. Okay, apparently we have 4 people here, but it doesn't tell me who the 4 people are because I can't see them. If you're able to chat, say hello. I know I can say hello. I've said it several times, but now we have 5 people. Hey guys, we are testing out our YouTube stream for the first time. So we are having technical difficulties. Neil, you're here twice. I even need to get rid of that other one. There we go.
I'm gone. The other one should be gone.
It is gone now. It is gone now. You might have been hanging there.
I think I was hanging there. That's why. So.
Hey, we got 6 people. Hey, folks. Welcome to the TOWTalk podcast. We are testing out our live stream for the first time. We've never done this before, but we plan to be using it in the future. And we think this might be a fun way to engage with our audience, but it seems that the chat is not working. If you are able to type a message via YouTube, just type it below. I thought I could do it before. I know I can here on Riverside, but I can't seem to connect via YouTube. Let me see. I was able to do it before. Let me try it again. And if you are, introduce yourselves. Let us know who you are. Yeah, see, I can chat via let me see.
Oh, got a good afternoon.
There we go.
Good afternoon, Christian. Thanks for joining us.
There
You
we
have any
go.
questions or anything you'd like to
Neil,
say?
yeah, Neil. Thank you. There you are.
Hello,
Christian,
Ollie.
where is everybody from, first of all? So we
Yeah,
can
where
get
are you from, Christian and Ollie?
anybody here from within. We are local town podcasters, but we also talk about national issues and stuff. But we're looking to expand our audience and engage further, find out where people are from. If you are involved in your local town governance issues, we can certainly tell you. If you've watched any of your videos, you can hear all about the shit going on in our town.
A lot of shit going on in our town.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good thing to get involved because while we always focus on what's happening in Washington, you'd be surprised what's going on in your own backyard because people don't look. And when people don't look and people just vote blindly and don't really look into the candidates because, they're local people, how bad could they be? You have no idea. You have no idea.
Ward
So,
Ford, Neil during his last campaign. Met Neil. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, good to
hey,
see you again, Christian.
welcome, Christian. Well, I guess you all know
Been
we're,
a
we're
while.
so yeah. We want to push Neil to run again, but he won't.
No, we don't want to push Neil to run again. I didn't want to run last time.
But knowing what's going on right now, if any of you have followed our channel, watched some of the recent stuff and what's happening with the finances, which is a big thing that we discuss a lot because it is an issue. Neil recently, our episode that I posted yesterday, Neil talked about the town board meeting that was on Thursday. And based on the budget that they put up and up against other information that he has, he discovered that we may be getting overtaxed by a significant amount.
Not maybe. We definitely were overtaxed for many years, and it's possible that we still are. We don't know. But that definitely is something, that needs to be investigated, and we need to come up with good numbers.
Yeah,
And listen, I didn't run because of some vanity exercise of me wanting to be supervisor. I know that people that seems to be what encourages people to run. I ran because there was a problem, and I felt like I was best suited to fix it. Unfortunately, the public didn't agree with me. They said they didn't believe that the finances were a problem because the supervisor at the time was running under the premise that there wasn't anything wrong. But 3 months into his second term, he lost the town's bond rating. So he clearly lied. I'm going to be honest. Now that I'm a comptroller and another, you get a lot of notice about these things. It's not like you aren't told.
yeah,
Okay, that's the frustrating part. Is you get told a lot about these things, right? Like you're given a lot of warning. Like, hey, you're behind. You need to get this done. There are a lot of like signals that go up. And my concern and my question is why wasn't that information shared with the entire board?
right.
Okay, all right. That's a disenfranchisement of those that voted for me. as the third ward councilman. And if this town believes, the entire town, I don't care what ward you live in, if this town believes, right, that we have that one ward should be able to disenfranchise another ward,
Yeah.
or that one ward's councilman has the ability
Excuse me.
to disenfranchise, right, 8,000 people, which is what I represented in my ward, okay, right, then you need to rethink what you believe is democracy,
Right.
okay, all right, because that's not democracy, that's authoritarianism in its essence, right? Like the idea that one person or multiple, maybe two people can dictate, right, that we're going to disenfranchise this group of people over here, okay, because either we don't like their representative, or we don't like who they are, or we don't like their race, or we don't like their, what they bring to the table, or we don't believe, right? Stop right there.
Yeah.
Okay, then you don't believe in the American experiment.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right,
that's
you
true.
don't believe in your town politic. Okay, and that's what's so frustrating, about the town of Walkill, is the fact that that's what you have going on, and it wasn't just me, right? Like Steve is also facing the exact same thing. He did a post about it, right? That he didn't even know about the bond rating, okay, until I told him.
You're talking about Steve Vanella.
Yeah, the third
Yeah.
ward councilman. All right, I had to find out from somebody else who told me, and then I ended up telling. Like, this is nonsense. He didn't even know that the comptroller's report, right, the draft comptroller's report, right, was even issued. Okay, until I told him it had been issued. I found out before him. You, as a member of the public, I should not be finding out things before my councilman. Okay, and that's not a reflection on my councilman, that's a reflection on the other board members who act this way. Okay, and it is very childish, right? This idea we're just going to hide things, we're going to act like children, we're going to whine, we're going to be like, wah, my feelings are hurt, right?
Oh
Bullshit,
God.
right? You goddamn snowflakes, right? This is what snowflakes are. Okay, the fact that you can't stand the criticism, that they can't like share information, right? Just come out and be honest, right? Like, the town still hasn't even issued, okay, a they haven't even issued a statement regarding the bond rating. Okay,
Yeah.
if I was listening to one of the meetings, going the October meeting, the October town board meeting from 2021. Okay, I wish I could play it here, but I can't. Dan Depew comes up to the podium, okay, and he talked about the bond rating. He said the town has a really good bond rating. I worked really hard for that bond rating, yada yada yada. And he turned to Lou and he goes, Lou, you wouldn't like it if you didn't have an ability to bond and do the projects that we need to do in town. And Lou was like, no, I would not like that at all. Okay. And now we're in the situation. We do not have a bond rating, right? These guys lost the bond rating. Okay. And they still haven't even issued a statement on it. The only statement you get is from a candidate, right, who's running for the Republican nominee, and he seems to have information that none of us have, but it doesn't even seem to be good information. That's the sad part, right? Like, he's saying, "Oh, we'll have this done by the first quarter." Right? Their books aren't even closed for 2023 and 2024 yet. You can't do an audit until those books are closed. Okay? When the question now needs to be asked, when do you plan on finishing the close? When do they plan on being closed? Both years, right? Because at this point in time, you still have to schedule field work for your auditors, right? Then you're rolling into their busy season. You're not going to sit there and pull them off of their busy season to do 2-year-old financial statements for which you're going to get a qualified opinion again. You're not even going to get an unqualified opinion. It's not even going to be clean. You don't even get a clean opinion in this town, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Never has anything been managed so poorly right? But people are turning around going, well, they have experience. Experience at what? Love to know that. Experience at what? But listen, it's not about me. It's not about Denise. Christian, Ollie. What do you guys think? Share your thoughts with us. What do you want to hear about? Is there a specific topic that would be that you're interested in hearing about with regard to the town? Let us know. That's why we're going live.
Yeah, yeah, to engage. Um, but we can certainly talk about a lot of different things here that are affecting us. Um, at a topic I did want to discuss. Ah, hey, Alan.
Hey, there he is.
Ah!
Veteran for Fourth Ward Councilman, Alan Baker. Would you
How,
like to come on and join us, Alan? We can
yeah,
send you a link and you can join us live if you'd like, if you're around.
yeah, this is actually a good opportunity for you to talk to, as we're getting known here. It's not going to be a big audience because this is our first time going live, but it would be great to have you on. I can,
Hold on, let me. I have Alan's. I'm gonna.
okay, so I can do the invite link to him.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm sending him the invite
Oh,
link.
you got it. Okay, good, good.
Yep.
Yeah, all you need is your cell phone and earphones or earbuds or whatever you got, just so there's no feedback.
I sent him the link, so if he
Yeah,
wants to come join us, he can.
and definitely send the stream link to your to all of your audience, to your friends who are
And when he
following you.
said, when he said we do want Neil to run, he meant don't. We don't want Neil to run. Just pointing that out. Maybe
Do,
that's my wish, though. It could just be my wish that it was a typo.
no, I see. We do want Neil to run in 2026. I'll be honest. I have a feeling you'd win hands down.
Oh God, there is no winning in this town. There is absolutely no winning in this town. People don't realize, right? I've talked about it for a long time, right? So I'm not going to talk about the current county executive race, right? Because I think that is, given this late date, that's something else. But let's go back. I want to take
Okay.
everybody back, right, to I think it was the early 90s, I want to say. All right, I can't remember when she was elected, but Mary McPhillips was the first female Democratic county executive here in Orange County. She served one term. Okay. Um, and you know, she she's a really nice lady. She was really, she really wanted to do a good job. But when you're talking about politics, right? And you're talking about these local government jobs, right? You're talking about an executive job.
Right.
Um, Most of the people that have been put there were put there by your predecessors, right? And when you talk about like the county, right, most of those people were put there by Mary's predecessors. Like you're talking like 50 years of Republican appointments, Republican nominees, Republican this, right? It was literally like as much as everybody wanted something different, it was honestly feeding her to the wolves.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, um, and stories have been recanted about how, she was in tears. She couldn't get anything done. She
Wow.
was fought tooth and nail along the way, and not for nothing. Sometimes that happens, right? Like it's really difficult being in a job when everybody is trying to sabotage you. You think we all live in
Yeah.
the town, you think we all live in the county, and we all want to support each other. But at the end of the day, these people are looking for you to fail at every step of the way. And that happened here in town with Frank D'Antanto when he was running for town supervisor.
Absolutely.
He had 3 board members and he had, key people in key positions, and it was bad. I mean, like he got framed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you watch the meetings, it was bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. You had posted a link to one of the meetings that took place. It was the one when you had O'Connor and Davies in the room.
That
And
wasn't me, but
oh,
yeah,
that
it was posted. Somebody posted that.
oh
It wasn't
that
me.
you didn't
No,
post that? Oh,
no.
I don't know who posted it. I thought, but it was just they were talking about how O'Connor and Davies was making clear that it's up to the board to discover fraud, that
Yes.
they can point out anomalies, but it's up to the board to look into those anomalies and determine what those problems are. And it's just the pushback that he got while trying to do that. Well, look at where it ended up.
It's all about spin. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're serving on a current board, you don't want to come off as being negligent. You don't want to come off as not knowing what you're doing, right? So it's what we call, it's like this patter, right?
yeah,
You gotta sit there and pat yourself on the back and be like, oh, I'm great. I do all this great stuff, right? I mean, for years these guys were like, oh, we managed the town great. We put money back into fund balance, right? Not realizing that what they were doing is they were stealing from you, right? Like, I
yeah,
mean, that's really what it comes down to. They were stealing. They were manipulating the budgets to make it look like, right, that they were giving money back to you when in fact they were like literally just stealing it right out of your pocket. Um, and there were no controls. I mean, from the moment I walked into that place, um, there were no. I didn't see any controls, and it concerned me. The first one was the lack of reporting,
mm,
which was a big one. I mean, as a
yeah,
board member, I received, you weren't even following the law. I received no reports, and you know, I I thought I was just, I really thought I was just being one of those guys, like, hey guys, can we get some reporting in here? Like, I mean, I would like to see something. I mean, I came at it from the standpoint like I didn't think anything was wrong. I didn't know what I didn't know. I just wanted to learn,
yeah.
and I got attacked from all sides. It was like crazy. All of a sudden, I was like the bad guy, right? Like, and you still hear it today. Like, I'm treated as if I'm some sort of bad guy here in town, right? I pointed out the lack of controls in your accounting department. Okay.
Yes.
O'Connor Davies pointed out the lack of controls in the accounting department. The New York State Comptroller's Office pointed out the lack of controls within the accounting department. All right. How many times are you now have accounting experts from across the board that have all pointed out the problems, okay, and you have a board saying we didn't do anything wrong, these guys are all bad guys and they don't know what the hell they're talking about, right? Like, don't listen to the accountants. Okay, listen.
No, because
you know
accountants don't know
it's what
anything.
Right, FAFO, right? FAFO. They fucked around and they found out and they lost their bond rating. They got $400,000 stolen from them. I mean, like, this is brain surgery. It was pretty clear that could happen. And again, you don't know what you don't know, so you don't know what kind of. I mean, municipalities are targeted like you wouldn't believe, like every other day.
Hang on. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to send links out to some people here. So I have to use my
Um,
other phone.
yeah, it's just it's not brain surgery. You gotta be able to got to be able to put those controls in place, and they just refuse to do it. And the real question is you don't know what you don't know. So when I was at the town of Walkell, right, I had found out that somebody had washed checks and tried to cash checks against the town accounts, right? Like these
Whoa,
these things.
really?
Yeah, but these things happen all the time in every municipality, and the problem becomes, right? So if you don't, there are certain rules in
Okay.
place. And this is how I know that the town didn't get reimbursed by anybody. Okay. Right. For the $400,000 that they lost. Okay. Because the banking rules are clear. Okay. You have 45 days from the incident, from the initial incident. Okay. To make a claim against your bank if you have positive pay. If you don't have positive pay, then it's a completely different story. But if you have positive pay, right? So positive pay, your bank, right, will actually indemnify you.
Okay.
Okay. If you don't have positive pay, your bank doesn't indemnify you. Okay. So positive pay basically is anybody tries to cash a check, anybody tries to withdraw money, anybody tries to do anything against your accounts, right? And you don't approve it because you have to, like, there's an active process. You have to approve it. Okay. If you and you don't approve it, okay, and they give the money out,
Yeah.
that's on them, and you're indemnified. Okay. If you approve it, then it's on you. So it really, like, it creates that layer of controls. Okay. But on top of which, it creates an additional insurance policy.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So the way the town of Wackill worked was, so what positive pay is, you do a check run,
Okay.
all right, and you upload your check run. So in other words, it basically takes, all your check numbers, who they're payable to, and the amounts. It uploads it to your bank, okay, and then as checks are cashed, they're matched against that file that you uploaded, right, and then they pay based on
Okay.
that. If you're not in that file, it doesn't pay.
Wow. Okay.
Right? So it's a pretty good control to have in place, right? And then so if it's not in the file, then you get an email that says, you have an exception. You have to either approve it or reject it. So then you have to go into your bank and it'll list out the checks that weren't in the file, right? And say, hey, this was charged against your account.
So
And then you
how?
can either approve it or not approve it.
Okay. So how does that show whether or not the town was reimbursed for the money lost from the auditor that
So
stole $400,000?
the town does have positive pay.
Okay.
Okay, that's the first thing. The town does have positive pay. All right. Now, the interesting part about the way it is, at least when I was there, the comptroller wasn't uploading the file. So everything came through as an exception. Okay. So
Okay.
she would have to go in and manually approve every check. Right. But then again, some of the checks, because she wasn't doing the proper verifications, right? Some of those checks weren't necessarily valid.
Okay.
Okay. That's the first thing. Okay. But in this instance, okay, what happened is if you have this positive pay, okay, and you're sending out money, okay, they basically say you have 45 days to reconcile your account. You have to be current on your bank recs, because if you're not current on your bank recs, okay, the bank isn't going to take any action, because then it becomes your responsibility, not theirs. So they give you essentially 15 days after month end to reconcile your bank accounts, to make sure that whatever came in and whatever left was supposed to be there. Anything
Okay.
more than 15 days, right, or 45 days from the incident, okay, I say from the incident, 45 days from the incident, the bank is going to turn to you and say, you didn't give us proper notification. in which case we're not reimbursing you,
Oh,
right? So the fact that this took 8 to 9 months for them to even discover,
exactly.
there's there's no bank in their right mind that would turn around and say, you know what, our bad, we're going to give you the money back, right? Like that becomes on you. Okay, so now the other side of that is then you need insurance, right? Then you need cyber insurance. I do not know if the town has cyber insurance. I know that the town of Chester has cyber insurance. Cyber insurance is an additional policy, not in your regular policy usually. Um, so if they didn't have a cyber policy, then their insurance company wouldn't reimburse them either.
But you don't know that.
Okay.
If you were there, would you make sure the town had that? Had cyber
Yes,
insurance?
they should.
Okay.
Everybody should have cyber insurance. Knowing firsthand, everybody should have cyber
I'm
insurance.
working. I'm working on them.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Like it. So I don't. This is why I don't think they got reimbursed. It was not. You're talking 9 months since the first incident. You had money going out monthly. You had no paperwork
I,
that they could produce that would show that they asked for the reimbursement. And usually there's a deductible amount if it's the insurance company, and we didn't hear anything about a deductible
right.
in this instance. They
And I
claimed
just
that,
want to
you know,
point this out,
Barnes
though.
Bank and Trust.
I just want to point something out here, though. Just as Neil is saying, this was a little, this went on for months. A little here, a little there, a little, and it built up. If the books were on the level, if they had their books right, they would have seen money disappearing early on. It didn't have to go all the way on for months and months until it reached $405,000 before they finally said, "Oh my
Correct.
God, we've been robbed." Come on. So
Right.
that's just
Right.
proof that these people are incompetent, whether really incompetent or deliberately incompetent or some other shit's going on. The fact is they are so screwed up over there that they weren't able to see a system of losses, of thefts occurring over 3/4 of a year here before they
Right.
finally got caught up on it. So that's something else to consider, because right now it's election time. We're in early voting. I posted a schedule, an early voting schedule, on the TOWTalk podcast Facebook page. You can look that up, and you need to really think about: do you want to keep the same people in who have gotten us to this level where we are book wise, or do you want to make some changes, get some new faces in there? A good thing to consider is the fact that, if it matters to you at all, is that it's a 1 year term, because starting in 2026 we are going to go doing our 2 year terms in line with the major elections. This will of course get people to see that there's local people that are on the ballot that you need to be paying attention to. So
Well,
give them at least a year.
yeah.
That, that's at least a start.
You
Hey,
can't.
we got 8 people here. Welcome, welcome, folks. This is our
Oh, we
first
do.
live
Oh, yeah.
stream.
Nice.
Introduce yourselves. If you're local to the town of Wallkill, if you're coming from somewhere else, we are podcasters for a small town, and we are talking about issues that are happening within our town regarding potential corruption, mismanagement of books, and how it's impacting our town. And it's something you should consider if you've never been involved in your local politics, if you don't take the time to see who's running for your town or village boards or city board, local cities, like if you're in a small city, like let's say Port Jervis or something. You need to be engaged in what's happening in your own backyard, because most of the time people don't look, and when they're not looking, they're not seeing what can be happening, and you just blindly vote for the same people over and over again. And when you give them that much power for that long of a time, as someone we spoke to recently said, if you leave the cookie jar out long enough, cookies start to disappear. So that's what we're talking about here. So for those who may not know, the town was recently robbed by an auditor over a period
May
of about
allegedly, allegedly.
allegedly $405,000 disappeared. This person has been charged. He was an auditor who was there to fix our books, and which are 3 years behind, by the way, and saw an opportunity, saw that we were so screwed up that it was easy to just sort of take a little here, take a little there, and by the end of 9 months, it was over $400,000, and that's when the town said, "Oh my God, we've been robbed." So that's where we're at,
Shocker.
folks.
Shocker.
Shocker, shocker. If you're not
Shocker.
looking, you're not gonna know.
Listen,
So
I got to tell you something. I really wish any of this surprised me. And again, it comes down to what you don't know, and you don't know if something else is missing. You just don't know what you don't know. And I'm really sick and tired of this idea that oh, it's not a big deal. In any accounting department, you have to have controls in place. You have to have, and the board has to monitor the town's finances. And it's not just doing the budget once a year. Like, you have to monitor the budget. You need budget reports, and you need to be able to review those reports, and you need to ask questions about those reports. You know,
yep,
um, one of the things that I in my current job, I encourage my town board to do is ask questions. Ask me questions, please. you know, I'll do my best to answer them, and that's really what it comes down to. It's you got to have information. They're the ones making the business decisions. Okay, if your board doesn't have the financial information needed, they cannot make the business decisions needed on their end, and that becomes a really big problem. That's a huge problem here in the town of Waco. We see it all the time. They don't know how much money they have. They don't know what they're doing with the money. They have to hire outside consultants at a really high rate and spend a lot of taxpayer money because they don't know what they're doing. We saw that with the $350,000 that they spent on the one consultant to get caught up. Then they spent probably another, like, I think it was $100,000. I don't even know, on another consultant just for their ARPA money. Then they spent, and then they spent countless amounts of money prior to that, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then they try to turn around and say there was nothing wrong with the town's finances. Right? Like, it's a joke. It's a joke. It really is a joke. Like, follow the money. If there's nothing wrong with your finances, you do not spend $1 million to fix something. Okay? Right? You don't.
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. You don't spend that kind of money. You just don't. We were behind, when I got to Chester, we were, I think like 9 months behind on bank reconciliations, and we're 2 years behind on the audit, right? We spent, I think, maybe like 12 grand,
That's not a lot of
to
money
catch us
as
up,
compared to what we've spent.
and that was a lot of money, right? Like, everybody was like complaining that was a lot of money, out the door. And it really came from me, right? Like I forgot what I should have asked for to start, because I knew we were going to need that money, the extra money, to catch up, right? I got a lot of shit, right? But that's really what happened. And and these guys spend $1 million.
Yeah. So you spent
And here
12,000.
nobody cares, right? $12,000, everybody cares, but $1 million, nobody cares, right? Like,
Well, we've
that
already, and
that's nothing.
yeah, that's whatever we paid that auditor that also walked off with $400,000. And then, of course, there were two amounts, and they were questioned. Serrano was questioned about it at last month's town meeting, where he pointed to there was a $200,000 charge for auditors, and then another $150,000
Right.
for auditors. So just for auditors alone, $350,000 this year, and Neil is telling you that Chester paid $12,000. And that was for to catch up 2 years worth of audits, correct?
No, that was just the bank recs. I
the
did
bank
everything
recs.
else myself.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I
did?
did
Oh,
everything. Yeah, with my help, my staff. which I have a very good staff there.
See, well, this is what happens when you have competent people doing the job and people who are on the up and up. So this is reason.
It's team effort. That's the what people don't get, right? Like nobody is on an island. Nobody works alone. Okay, and what these guys did was they set up a situation where they isolated the comptroller in the town, right? And made it so nothing could be delegated, no work, nobody else could see anything or touch anything, nobody else knew what was going on, and there was no oversight, right? I don't care where you work. If you have an employee, right, that has been put in that situation, only bad things can come from it.
Yeah.
Only bad things can come from it. Okay? Everybody needs oversight. Even your CEOs have oversight from your boards, right? Like there's somebody always there for oversight. Now, I'm not saying the oversight is always good, but that's up to the people providing that oversight that
Yeah.
has to make that determination. But when I'm saying I want to do some oversight, and I'm being told by everybody in the room, including attorneys, okay, who are saying, no, 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 that's not necessary. And we're okay with breaking the law,
Wow.
right? So that oversight doesn't get done, right? That tells me there's a problem, and that tells me it's systemic throughout the entire system, and that everybody kind of needs to go at that point in time
We
because
we have a
everybody has become
question.
too entrenched.
We have a question from Christian. So, as an undecided, would leadership under Frank and Allen lead to a buck stops here approach where problems get fixed regardless of when the issues began? The town needs leaders who own responsibility.
I don't think there's any doubt that Frank took responsibility for everything that happened in his 2 years. You talk to the guy. I think that that's exactly what he did. I mean, he took ownership of his role in everything, and so my thinking is you are getting none of that from the Republican side, from Ralph and from Eric Johnson. They consistently have blamed other people for and have continued to obstruct. They've continued to lie. They've continued to provide disingenuous information to the public. The only two people that I know that have been telling everybody the truth and going around and taking responsibility and saying, yes, we are going to take ownership of everything is Frank and Alan. And keep in mind too,
And Steve.
you know, right, and Steve and Gene and all of them. I think that that's what they want. I think the idea of setting up accountability, and one of the things Frank's talked about is term limits, right? Nothing says ownership more than a term limit because
Yeah.
that means they screw up, they're out the door, and they're
Yep.
going to tell you that they screwed up.
Yeah. We.
He's setting up a system of accountability.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as I've noted before in some of our episodes, one councilman has been in his position for what 12 terms at least. So that's 24 years, same
Right,
person, in the
right.
same place.
And he's taking no ownership of anything.
Yeah, yeah, everything is sort of past the buck here. So we want accountability. That's the reason why we want change. And unfortunately, you're not going to if you put the same people in, you're going to get the same results. So if you're not happy with the way things are right now, then not changing them. Ralph is just sort of he was a councilman for years. So you're just putting back in the same people over and over again and you're going to get the same results. So we need change. We need change and we need to have a majority to see if we can affect that change and get results. So I hope
I
that
mean,
does
well,
that kind
go
of
back to
help you
if we go.
with your
I
answer?
hope.
Sorry.
Yeah, let us know, Christian, if that answered your question. But I think the other, what you need to like, if we go back to 2001, right? The 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 determination of wrongdoing against the town police was done, right? Like there was findings of fact, okay? The the state government and the federal government wanted to put the town under federal monitoring, okay? and and you had two board members who are currently now running again, right? Dave Furlan and Eric Valentin, right? Who still at that point in time denied any wrongdoing. They were like, well, if these things did take place, there were findings of fact that they took place. You can see in the article by their own words that they refused to even admit any type of wrongdoing. They were aware of it. They refused to do anything about it, right? And then that process continued, right? That methodology just continued from there, ongoing to this day, right? It may not be our police anymore. Now it's the finances, but you're seeing the same trend over and over and over again with the same people. Okay,
They didn't do
when
anything
Frank was there
wrong.
for 2 years, right, when Frank was there for 2 years, he could have easily just said, you know what, there's nothing wrong with the finances, and did what his predecessor did. I'm sure that he would have gotten reelected in a landslide after that if he
Yeah,
had done that. Because if he had done that, he wouldn't have been, he wouldn't have, they wouldn't have tried to frame him, right? I mean, you don't do that if you're going along to get along. He recognized that there was a problem. He was trying to take ownership of the problem by help trying to fix it and come up with solutions to fix it. And he
yep,
was told, no, we don't want to do anything. And he was
yeah.
told that by Eric Johnson, Eric Valentin, and Mark Coyne. Three
So
guys who are still there, three guys who are running for election again this year.
yes, yes. So Alan has responded. I don't know if you, I know you can't see the chat, but he said yes. The
I
town
do. I
keep.
can now.
Okay,
Yep.
so yes, so the town
Read
does
it.
keep.
Read it. You should read it.
Yes, the town keeps dancing around the accounting mess. We need to accept what is reconcile the bank. That is to reconcile the bank accounts, do the year do the year end close on the books, and take our lumps and move forward. Yeah, yeah, and hopefully we can move forward and have more accountability, and maybe see where the leaks are, as Frank Dendanto said, plugging the leaks, and maybe save us some money on our property taxes, because Neil has revealed that we may have been substantially overpaying for the property taxes in the town. So just so you
Well,
know,
you
the property tax bill is broken up. You've got county taxes, you got your library tax, but a chunk of that is taxes for the town, for the property tax in the town. And of that, he found that anywhere from between 35 and 40% we may be overpaying of that portion. So that's a lot.
I think there really needs to be a conversation in this town, right? Look, I'm not speaking for Democrats or Republicans. I'm speaking as a resident of this town.
Exactly.
Okay, strictly as a resident of this town. I really truly believe, and this is why I really don't want to run again, because conversations, people don't want to have those anymore. People just want to elect somebody, and they want to elect somebody, and that's it, right? But when I first got into office, right, what we spent on highway as a percentage of our entire budget, right, on road work was
Excuse me.
significantly higher, right? What you've seen is over the last 10 years, right, the amount that we've spent on our roads to pave our roads, right, we're still doing the same 2 miles every year,
Yeah.
right? When I first got in office, we were doing 2 miles, paving 2 miles of road a year. We're still paving 2 miles of road, right? You got what, 300,000 miles of road in town, right? Like, how long is it going to take you to pave this shit, right? Like, I mean, your roads only last you, right? Like, I mean, maybe you get 20, 30 years out of a road, right? Like, holy cow. At some point in time, you have to invest in infrastructure. You have to invest in infrastructure. And I know people don't want to hear that, right? Because you know, you have this crowd that says, oh, you want to defund the police. No, I want to invest in infrastructure of this town, right? Because I own a home in this town, and my home is only going to be as valuable as the infrastructure around it. And if shit is falling apart, right, you can look at other major cities. If shit is falling apart in your town, if the infrastructure is falling apart, if your roads are crappy, if you can't provide water and sewer, or your water is bad, you know, or whatever it may be, your town's going to suck and nobody's going to want to move there.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So, you know, I give Lou a lot of credit. He did a lot um, with very little, right? But enough's enough. This town is growing at a rate of 10% per year, right? You know, you need to expand you need to expand the amount of road you pave. You just do.
Yeah. Yep.
You just
Hold on a
do.
second.
And you know, infrastructure isn't cheap. I get that. But you need to pave roads, right? You
Right.
need to pave roads. We're not a major city. We don't need, you know, what people don't realize that's happening. You don't need a police station and like 30 substations around town. Okay? We're
Yeah.
not New York City. We don't need precincts. Okay? We're a township, right? We're actually a pretty small township in comparison
Yeah.
to other townships in New York. Okay? Right? We have more police officers than the town of Newburgh. Right? How about some critical thinking? Right? We're one of the safest towns. We're significantly safer than the town of Newburgh, and we have more police officers. Okay, and we're the amount that we're spending on our roads is shrinking. What is that going to tell you about your long term plan or lack thereof?
Yeah. Yeah, that's significant. And not to mention, not to mention now we have these freaking warehouse coming in, which is going to put big tractor trailers that tend to rip up roads onto more residential roads. Yeah, I have a question. I don't
Right.
know if you know the answer to this, but with the one that's going up on Silver Lake, Scotchtown, and Mud Mills, which I've expressed my opinion as how much I hate this, but uh, anyone coming off of the highway, they're all going to come off the highway. They're all going to be coming up Tower Drive and crossing over 17. What is the weight limit of that overpass? Can it handle big tractor trailers like that? Oh, shush.
They're not
Shush.
talking about that. They're not talking about that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's a significant question because if that's not
No, that's
designed,
not a question. That was answered, right? And then they're keeping it a big secret as to what the answer to that is, and it's not because it's not good.
yeah, obviously if there was no problem, they'd say so. So yeah, so now we might see our
No,
roads get ripped.
would they say so? Would they say so? If there was no problem, would they say so? They want to do the project. Would they say so if it couldn't handle it?
Yeah, probably not.
The answer is the answer is there's a weight limit issue. There's absolutely a weight limit issue. I don't have the answer. I'm not an engineer, right? But at some point in time, that bridge will likely need to be replaced.
Which is that's a big expense that will cost us.
No, it's over 17, so it's state DOT.
They won't charge back the town given that the whole reason for its breakdown has to do with
The
us.
state DOT, it's state DOT because it's over New York 17.
Okay.
Okay, which means the state DOT would have to be the one to replace it. The real question is state DOT, we know how lax they are with bridges.
Okay. Hang on.
So, this could be a real problem moving forward. I don't have an answer. Again, I'm not an expert. Don't pretend to be an expert. Don't really know anything about engineering. So, but there were rumblings that there would be a problem with that bridge, which is why they were trying to. They wanted to get an entrance into the
Uh,
warehouse from the highway,
from the
right?
highway?
So
I
when
thought
you're
it was
coming off
211.
17,
Okay, when you came off from 17, you'd
no, like right when you're coming off of 17 on going towards 211, there would be a ramp there, but there's wetlands back there. So rather than pay the mitigation to New York State for that, they decided that oh, you know what, we'll fix 211 up, which is all the work that we have going on 211 right now. So that way, we can just roll trucks that way.
And that's the answer to the question. My mother had that question. She said, "Oh, but they were going to put an entrance from 211." Well, nope, they're not. They're not going to invest the money in it, which means
No, that
that
was
over.
so that was what so Frank Danto. This came up during with Frank Danto in office, and Frank had said to them, "We're not doing a warehouse unless we're getting unless you go for that bridge, go for that off the thing, right off the highway," and that's where that stalled, right? Like again, I go development is local, so if somebody wants that project and you have a roadblock like Frank in office who was pushing back against some of these things, right? You got to get rid of the guy. How do you get rid of the guy?
You create a scandal.
Correct. It wasn't hard to see what was going on. I mean, that I don't think that project would be here if Frank had not lost.
Yeah, yeah. No, it wouldn't be because it's horrible. It's a horrible location. It's not only horrible. It's stupid. It's a stupid location.
Thank Ed
And
Diana for that one.
yeah,
Ed Diana was the one who changed the zoning for that because of Medline.
yeah. In the words of Michael Cohen, you get the two-finger salute, Diana. Um, oh, did I do a bad thing? All right, but no, that is just a
Shouldn't be doing
terrible
that
idea.
live, Denise.
Please, please, it's YouTube. It's not Pollyanna stuff here. We're not Pollyanna. Um,
We're not Pollyanna. I thought we were Pollyanna.
bullshit. So, I
Anybody else have any questions? Did that answer, Christian? Did that answer your question? Is there any other questions that we can answer for you?
yeah, he might. I can't tell who's here.
I think he's still on. I know that
Let me
we still have 5 people listening, so I wish we could get them like so that they can participate in our studio.
add participant. What does this mean? I'm testing out all this stuff.
Alan has been trying to link to us, so maybe
Remote guest. Send a link to someone joining from another device. In-person guest.
can you send me
Only
that
one
so I can send
in-person.
it to Alan?
Yeah, only one in-person. What does this say? Oh, God. I have to move my camera to see. Only one in-person. Only one in-person participant can be added at a time. Oh, I can't. So I can't add you? Send a link to someone joining from another device. Well, that's it. That's interesting. So apparently we can't have more than the two of us on here?
That's weird.
Oh, we have to fix that because we can do that. We can have multiple guests when we're recording.
Yeah, we've had that before. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's a live thing.
Maybe it's bandwidth
Yeah.
because your bandwidth is being restricted a little bit. You're a little fuzzy. You're coming in slow where I'm
Really?
clear. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder why my bandwidth. I have pretty good internet speed.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So anyway, let me see. Let me get us back to chat so I can see what you guys are saying. There we go. Ah, yes. Having tech here and multitasking. Why I'm not on the live stream. Yeah. Try and show on stream. Oh. Oh, look at this. We can put your chat up there. Okay, so you're having technical difficulties. So you are trying to connect live. It seems maybe what we'll do is I'll ask.
We're live. Are
Yeah.
you watching this live? I was going to, but I thought there would be some echoing. No, I don't think so.
No, nobody's heckling. It's all good here. You know what we might try
No,
to
she
do?
said echoing, not heckling.
Oh. Oh, could be either one.
Right.
You know what? Alan is having technical difficulties here in multitasking. Why I'm not, and that's why he's not on the live stream. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So he is trying to connect. All right. So we'll stand by.
Anything? Any other questions, Christian, or anything else that we can answer for you? Did we answer your question?
Can't tell if he's still here. It doesn't give me a list of all the people that are on here, unless, oh, you know where I can do it? Find out here. Get out of there, Google. Goodbye, Google. I tell you, Google now jumps in my face all the time. Now, okay. Oh, I think I saw another chat. Yeah, there we go. We may have lost someone. I did send a link to Frank and to Nancy and Steve. I don't know if they got it. Who knows if they're home? It's Sunday. People are out. We didn't. We deliberately didn't plan this in advance and post everything because we really didn't know what kind of difficulties we might encounter while doing this for the first time. So far, I think it's been all right. Neil, you kind of have. I wonder if you disconnect and reconnect because you were clearer when you connected in the beginning, and you're
right.
less. Yeah, just disconnect and come back. So just close your browser. Oh, now I got the whole place to myself. There's lots of room here. We've got some merch for us anyway. But maybe we'll be offering that as we're growing here, and we're looking to do some things in the future with creating a podcast centered around small towns everywhere. Hey, let's see. No, there you are. Now you're clearer.
Yeah, I think it's the browser versus the app.
So, you were using the app?
I was using the app.
Yeah, no, now you
It
look
said
good.
the app would be better, and I thought maybe the app would get me in, but
Oh, now you look so much better. Hey, Nancy, there you are. Hey, we got 10
up
people.
to 9. Oh,
10.
Nancy's here. Hey, Nancy.
Where's Steve? Ward 3
He's
in the
probably-
house. Ward 3 is in the house. This is like a Ward 3 live podcast here. I also sent a message to Mary. I don't know whether I don't know how active she is right now. She's around, but asked her to put a post on the Town of Wallkill Democratic Committee.
I saw her today. So.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess is everybody still out pounding the pavement?
I don't know. I saw her voting. I voted. Did you vote? I voted.
I have not gotten out there to vote. I'm planning on doing that tomorrow. I know because the place is open till 8:00 on Monday and Tuesday night.
Okay.
So, she's waving. I'm waving back.
So did everybody vote yet? Is everybody on this stream voted, or do they have a plan to vote? How about telling us that?
And I don't know if I even sent my mother. God help us. I don't think she knows.
You sent your mother to vote?
No, I sent my mother a link. She did text me.
Thank God. Please don't tell her voting's like 3 weeks from now. Tell her voting's 3 weeks from now.
I wish I could see who.
Some people shouldn't be allowed to vote. She's one of them.
Oh my God! Yeah, she does what Fox News tells her to do.
Oh my God!
So.
Oh my God! There was a comedy show, right? Where the guy was interviewing like 6 people, okay, and he goes, how many of you think that voters are easily influenced? Right? One guy raises his hand. The other five didn't raise their hand at all. And then he goes, how many of you think that voters aren't easily manipulated? So then the other five raise their hand, and the one guy keeps his hand down. And then the guy goes, okay, I want everybody to raise their right hand. Right, so the five people raise their right hand, right, and the one guy is sitting there looking around at the, and then he goes, okay, now put your hand down. Everybody raise your left hand. Everybody, the five people raise their left hand, right, and then he goes, okay, put your hand down. He goes, okay, everybody raise both hands, right. So the five people raise their hand, and the one guy who was like, I said they were easily influenced. It's like has his hand on his head. He's like, oh my God, right? And he goes, and then the interviewer goes, how many people think that voters are easily influenced now?
Oh my God, that is funny. That is funny. All right. Let me send a.
Oh, there we go. Nancy Vanilla. We went today. Hold on. Let me show you. I have like this thing in my way. It's hard. We went to vote today just before 2 p.m. No waiting. So there's no excuse.
That's
There's
it.
no excuse.
I know, but I've been busy doing this. I will be doing it tomorrow. Marty and I will head out tomorrow. Maybe we'll see. I bet I don't know if my mother ever clicked on the link. She probably doesn't know how to chat, which might be a good thing.
That was great though that
No.
Nancy and the fam went out to vote. You know.
Where is Steve, man? Steve, say hello.
Steve should be out canvassing, hopefully.
Oh, he might be. He might be. I know. He has been showing a lot. He's been out there. First of all, I want to give props to all of our candidates. They have been out there, pounding the pavement, knocking on doors, meeting people, introducing themselves, talking about the issues that really matter to the town. So,
Alan voted first day, voted yesterday, active and no line. So I think they were up to about 600, maybe 700 people today. So it's a good start, but that includes Middletown, that includes like everybody. So come on, everybody, get out and vote.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people don't realize that there is an election on November 4th. That was something that Don Kilcoyne mentioned when he was out. He said we interviewed him last month, and what was it, that month? The beginning of this month, and oh, you have a heating issue? Okay, I'm sorry about that. No, but Don pointed out that when he knocked on people's doors and introduced himself, he said the scariest thing he heard was that people didn't even know that there's an election on November 4th. That is scary. And that's done by design, and that's one of the reasons why we are starting in 2026. So this is a one-year term people will be voting for. And starting in 2026, the local elections are being moved to even years. So they coincide with major elections, midterms, presidential elections. So people see them, see that your town board is up for re-election, up for election, whatever. And that's the purpose. So but you still got to get out now.
So Ali responded, voting tomorrow after work. So he is definitely voting, which is great. I encourage everybody to go out and vote, except
Thank
your
you.
mom, Denise.
Oh God, I love my mom.
The even year and odd year thing. I love your mom too, by the way. She's great. The even and odd year thing. I understand both sides of that issue. That is a two-sided issue. And I'll be the first one to say I absolutely 100% understand both sides of that issue. So for those people, a little background. Basically, local elections were done in odd years, and state and national elections were done in even years. The purpose of the reason, I don't know the significance of why it was done that way originally, but it was essentially done because they didn't want local elections being influenced by national politics and state politics because they really are different animals altogether, or should be,
Or should
right?
be.
Your local board is supposed to be about local issues, okay? And your state and federal government obviously are more state and federal issues. And if you come from a blue state, you don't want your local election, okay, being influenced by a state and federal election, because maybe Republicans in your town are really, really good, and so maybe they're doing a good job, and maybe you don't want to see, somebody get in there and do a bad job, and vice
Right.
versa. If you're in a red state, and you tend to be like, we live in a red county, right?
Yes.
Like, it is a deep red county. But this goes to, we all need to be talking to each other. This goes back to my old adage of, right? Like, everybody should really just know what's going on. People should not be
Yeah.
influenced by
Yeah.
those things,
Agree.
and people should go out and vote. But so it it really can go either way, because you're going to have a lot of people voting in local elections next year who have no idea who's on the ballot. They won't know
Right.
the people, they won't know the local issues, they won't care. And do you
And
want
they'll
your
just
local
draw
board,
a line
right?
through it.
And do
Yeah.
you really want that? And so it is concerning. It's absolutely concerning. I think those who have expressed that they don't want to see that, I understand it. I personally think that when it comes to these local seats, I think 2 years is not enough time. I think a 2-year councilman seat, in 2 years, you have no idea what you're doing. you know,
Probably
you
takes
haven't
that long
learned
just to
anything.
get
Right,
acclimated.
right.
So how
And
long
you
do
don't
you
know.
think a term should be?
I think a local councilman should be 4 years. I think your supervisor should be 4 years. And I think you should have staggered terms. So, in other words, the entire board shouldn't change over in the same year. So, in other words, you know, uh, two board members, go this year along with the supervisor. In 2 years, it'll be the other two board members go out, right?
That's a good
And
idea.
then, right, so you're not changing, you're keeping some of that institutional knowledge intact. All right.
Okay.
Now again,
It's a
it's
good
not,
idea.
it doesn't always work,
What
because
do you
what's
think?
happening is that you got a lot of corruption in there that you need to weed out. But I think that this partly weeds it out. And I think if you do what Frank said, right, right, because Frank wants term limits. I think if you go to, a 4-year term, and then you're allowed to serve 2 4-year terms, then you're done,
Yeah.
right? Then you're term limited out. And I think that would be perfect. I think that would be perfect for everybody. I think the public would like that better. I think everybody would like that better, and it would ensure that you don't have corrupt politicians in office, and that you can recycle people out.
Okay. So thoughts? Anybody have thoughts about that? What do you think?
Okay, hold on. Nancy gave us something. There were 620 votes counted already at the Middletown site.
So
So the
that's a
city of Middletown, where you can go early vote at the uh, Mulberry House, the senior center in Mulberry House in the city of Middletown, had 620 votes. So that's that could be anywhere in the county. So, but generally speaking, it's probably Middletown and Tonawaka. That's
probably yeah,
great.
because there are other locations throughout the county. So
Right.
I'm sure everybody's going, closer to where they are. But 620 is good. Speaking of that, I guess we'll just get into a little national politics. I think we all
You know how
heard.
much I hate national politics.
I know, but no, I'm not going into that far into it. Just enough to mention that I don't know whether it's the Fed is going to be sending, what is it, auditors to New Jersey and California to monitor their elections, or monitors, some sort of monitors. And I think that is probably done for intimidation. They can't interfere with state elections, so I don't think they will interfere much. But if you're concerned, as we are seeing changes, we know that Dominion was purchased by, a billionaire recently.
Right
And
wing billionaire.
yeah, right wing billionaire turned it into Liberty voting, Liberty election, whatever. If you have concerns, this is just my idea. You don't have to, go with it or not. But we all are yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Yes, Alan, I agree. Sorry, I pulled a muscle in my neck and it's just aching me right now. Not sure what I did, but what I'm thinking is when you fill out your ballot, because we're filling it out by hand, we're filling out a paper ballot. When you're done, place it on the counter. Put your ID down next to it if you want to. You don't have to. Take a picture of it. Then when you go to feed it into the machine, you could either run your video or at least take a picture of the number that you are when it's counted. And this way you have a record of what you put on your ballot, when you put on your ballot, that it's definitely your ballot, and what number that ballot is counted. So if there's a problem, you are able to make a statement about it, because we've seen this come up, and we're hearing about some strange anomalies. If you follow Smart Elections and Election Truth Alliance on YouTube, both are on YouTube, they have some, they brought up some interesting anomalies. So this is just an idea that we can do to sort of, at least we have a personal record of what we put on our ballots. So
Did you read what Alan had posted?
yes, he said he agrees with term limits is a key to how, so we need term limits for sure. Lack of term limits is a key to how our town got into this financial mess. 100%,
So-
I agree with you.
So, if getting back to Christian's question about what Alan, I mean, Alan clearly made a statement. We need to have accountability.
Yeah,
And our elected officials need to be accountable. So, I think that answers Christian's question about where Alan stands. So,
I don't know if Christian
know,
is still with
thanks.
us. He might have dropped. I can't see. I can't see the
I
list
just
of
see
people.
8 people. That's it. I just see
Yeah.
8 people. That's it.
It doesn't. Oh, this people link is just for the people who are chatting. Yeah. So I can do a remote guest. Oh, how do we do a remote
Sorry,
guest?
we're still trying to figure this stuff out, guys. So please bear with us. We're not professionals in any way yet. So still working on stuff. We're trying to figure out this live thing because we feel that maybe if we can do more live, we can get more interaction, and we can hear what your concerns are, and we can have conversations about that. I mean, we've been sort of been focusing on the election here in town, but there are concerns that other people have in town, other than maybe just the finances and their taxes. There are some people who always say, you know what, extra $500, I don't give a shit, right? Like I know that there are, a lot of people on fixed incomes. I mean, I represented a lot of those people, so that's why I focused on that. But if you live out in the fourth ward, maybe your issue is about development. You
Yeah.
know, and that's one of the reasons why I've certainly been very vocal about the need for, um, you know, for the master plan to be completed, for a comprehensive master plan, to have experts involved, to have engineers involved, to have a municipal planner involved. You know, my concern is right now everything is, Councilman Johnson, Eric Johnson, is pretending to be a municipal planner. I mean, and he was like, "Oh, I've done this before." When have you done that before? When have you done a master plan before? When have you done any type of municipal planning before? You're an earth science teacher. You've been an earth science teacher for 30 years. Okay? At no point in time do you have expertise in municipal planning. Okay? You know?
Oh my God, that's funny.
It's right. Like, you need, because at the end of the day, it's important to have experts look at this stuff because they've seen what other municipalities have gone through. They know where the exceptions to the rule are, right? And if you don't have all your I's dotted and T's crossed, okay, that's when bad shit happens in your community that you don't want. And and that's been my concern with Councilman Johnson from the very beginning in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can see on this board they have no attention to detail, no attention to detail at all. Their lack of attention to detail is
Oh my God.
mind-boggling. Okay, we saw it with the ambulance district, right, where none of them have seemed to even have read the RFP that was put out, right? Like, none of them. We saw it with the town finances, where the town lost a bond rating and $5,000 ran out of town hall, and nobody even knew about it, right? Like, I mean, what kind of master plan are we getting with this thing?
We're getting
you know,
we're getting warehouses in the woods on residential roadways. We're getting an apartment complex next to a hotel, a gas station, and a Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
Which is just what they did over on East Main Street and the hospital. I mean, hey, look, if you're sick at the in the apartment complex, or if the lights go out in the apartment complex, you can walk next door and take a room at the hotel. And if you're thirsty, you can go to the Dunkin' Donuts. And if you get sick or start choking or something, you can run down to the hospital because they're all next to each other. And along the way, if you need some gas, you can pick up a tank of gas. It's very, very just laid out weirdly.
all I'm gonna tell you is I was on the board. Whatever came before the board, I voted no. I will tell you that. I was the only board member who said no. In fact, the developers all came up to me, who I have actually really good relationships with some of these guys, right? They came up to me and they go, "Why did you vote no?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now? Like seriously? You're gonna ask me why I voted no? You're gonna put an apartment complex next to a hospital, next to a hotel, next to a convenience store, and behind an appliance store, right?
Oh
Like
yeah, we
seriously,
forgot about that, Michael's.
right? I was like that's a joke, right? It's gonna look nice. Everything looks nice when you build it, okay?
Yeah, until you build
and
it.
now, right? And I'm one of those people. I'm not like one of those like crap on everything type of people. I know that that's what a lot of people like to comment on, is because I come on and I talk like, but you could have actually developed that area into a like one thing we've talked about in this town is having a downtown area, right? We don't have a downtown area where people can walk, go shopping, do that, right? Like that might have actually been a really nice area to put that. You have some apartments down there, you could have set it up like you could have like made a little bit of like a I don't want to say
Maybe
another
a
shopping
park?
complex, but like a park, with
Something for
some
kids.
right. Like you could have actually done something nice down there, right? Or you could have turned it into an industrial park if that's what you wanted, right? But it shouldn't be a mix of everything, right? Like this
Yeah.
seems to be like what everybody is built. Like you can look, right? The same thing at the Galleria. They want to put apartments at the Galleria. Like it's all this mixed use stuff.
Right. And
Okay.
this is, I remember when you were running, this was one of the things you said that Serrano planned to do was to change the zoning for mixed use. And
Yes.
now look at what's happening.
Now we're getting mixed use everywhere.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's
And
actually going to bring. I think it's going to bring the values down. It's going to really impact our housing values in the
so
long run.
what one of the things that you have to look at, right, is again not what it looks like when it's first built. You have to ask yourself 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road, what is it going to look like, right? What are we going to have to do to maintain this, right? So these guys, they get their 30-year pilot or they get a 20-year pilot or whatever it is, right? When their pilot's done, they walk away. The property usually, you know, deteriorates in some
Yeah.
form, fashion, or another. Okay, when properties start to deteriorate, you start seeing, you know, you start seeing maybe more drug use. You start seeing more things in that area that you may not
Yeah.
want. Right. That means that you have to increase your policing. Right. That
Right.
means you're spending more money on your police. That means you're spending more money on other types of resources. Right. That drain your community. Your community. I'm not saying you shouldn't have affordable housing. What I'm saying is we need to make sure that we're putting them in places where we can have it grow and foster it, and we can
Yes.
maintain it, and we can do good things with it. um
Francis said one of the issues brought up at the budget presentation that was on Thursday was the ambulance district. The board seemed unable to explain how it will work.
right,
So,
well,
what?
because they didn't read the RFP.
Oh, no surprise.
Right. Listen, we already know what's going to happen. They're going to give the contract to Walk Hill Ambulance Corps, and Walk Hill Ambulance Corps will be doing the same thing that they do now.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't take brain surgery to figure out exactly how this is going to work. you know, like, like, you know, but I think it's sort of like you have to. We knew that George was going to push through, and it was mainly because Eric. That's what Eric Valentin wanted. Eric Valentin had been pushing this type of development for the longest time while I was on the board. Um,
The
you
shadow
know this
supervisor.
Right. This is what he wanted. This is the type, and he really pushed the Galleria project too. Like that was his, exactly what he was the one that brought Pyramid in. Everything that was done has been him. You know, and
So you're talking about when the actual Galleria was built in '92 or
no,
early? Okay.
no. I'm talking about the when they wanted to do their project down on Smith Road.
Okay.
It was him that brought that to the town board, and he kind of pushed for that, and that was one of the reasons why. I mean, if you look at one of the first things George did when he got into office, right, after Frank losing in 2022, was to approve the Galleria project, and he took so there were like again, I go back to Frank was a shrewd negotiator in that he negotiated a number of things with Pyramid, including the sidewalk on the other side of the street, so that
Yes.
there would be a link between the apartments being built and the railroad, right? So he pushed for sidewalks, he pushed for green space. Like there were a number of things that Frank pushed for that he was able to get Pyramid to agree to. Okay. And then George came in 2022, right? All those things were gone, right? All those things were immediately taken out that Frank negotiated for the project. Okay. And George was like, I don't see a reason why we can't approve the project, and just ran ahead and approved the project.
Yeah.
So, like, again, you have a guy that is negotiating with people that you're friendly with, you know, and so you got to get rid of that guy. The guy's impeding your ability to do what you want to do.
Okay. Let me. So I heard from Mary. Mary said that Jean Day wants to connect, um, but she didn't send Jean to me, so I don't. So I can't get her. I don't have her contact information for Jean Day.
You're saying only two of us can be on at the same time, though.
But then don't forget, before you were on twice, so it can do it. Let
All
me
right,
let me.
I'll send the link to Jean. Let's see what
Okay.
she says.
See, yeah, send the regular connection link, even just to test it. We need to see because what I was hoping to do, maybe it's too late, I don't know, but try and get at least a handful of
I
candidates
know.
on.
I'm gonna have to bounce probably pretty soon for dinner.
Oh no, we have to eat.
I gotta eat.
Oh, food's overrated. Oh, by the way,
I have to eat at a certain time. I have to eat before a certain time because I have digestive issues.
Oh, okay. Well, we can't let that we can't let
You know,
Neil go without eating. But
I have no gallbladder, people. I have no
oh god,
gallbladder.
neither does
Right?
Marty.
The town stressed me out so much. It took my gallbladder from me.
Oh my god, that's right. So if he tries to run again, he could lose a spleen or a kidney or something. So
I gave a gallbladder to this town. Do you think I don't need to give anything else?
come on, Marty has
What do you
been listening.
want? You want my heart? You want my kidney?
Oh my god. So, but this has been a we've been just testing this out. So what do you think of us? Because we might consider doing a live every week, trying to build up our base, and just maybe like at 3 o'clock for like an hour on Sundays, like 2 or 3
Any
o'clock.
questions? Some feedback?
Or we
Give
can
us
do an evening
anything.
live.
We
Well,
love you
have,
guys. We love our
yes,
listeners. We love all of you, even the
first of
ones that hate
all,
us.
yeah, we got to thank all of you who have supported us and shared us as we're still at the birth of this thing, and just doing the videos, but trying to do live. Actually, I think it's kind of fun. I think it's kind of fun talking live, and
Do you-
as we evolve, we can find more things, more events. We can talk about events. How about some positive events, some things that are going on in the town, that community events. And this is a great way to share that information and have people kind of engage with us and let us know what they've got planned, what they know of, what they thought of it. So, anyway, so tell
Do
us.
you,
Oh,
do
go
you
ahead.
remember? Do you remember that documentary? There was a documentary that was done about a TV. It was like one of the first like outrageous sitcoms, right? That was on TV, and they were talking about the ratings, and they were like, I think it may have been, you know
All in the
what?
family.
No, you know what it was? You know what it was? It was Howard Stern's movie, right? So Howard Stern's movie, right? They did this thing about the ratings, right? And they were like, yeah, the people who like Howard tune in for maybe like 10 minutes, a drive, right? The people who hate him though are like, tune in for like an hour and a half,
Because we never know what he's going to say
right,
next. They
right.
hate him, but they never know what he's going to say
Right.
next.
So I'm like, I'm betting our haters like watch us longer than the
Yes.
people who like us do.
Yes. We have to do shock podcasting. That's what we have to do. We have to say just shocking shit to inflame people, because then they stay. The flame. It's interesting
Uh,
to know. As I watch the amount of views and interaction that we get on our videos. The biggest video that got the biggest interaction was the one where we talked about Canada, about the letter from State Senator Martin. I forgot his first name, who wrote some ridiculous essay to. Wait a second. We got a question. What are your thoughts on the new ambulance district? It sounded like the town wants to bail out a failing ambulance company. Oh, that's an interesting. Do you think they were bailing out the company?
yes.
Yeah.
Short answer is yes. There actually is a longer answer to that though. Unfortunately, volunteer ambulance companies are all experiencing significant issues, all right, financial issues, mainly because a lot of the money that they get comes from either insurance companies or Medicaid. With all the cuts to Medicaid that have occurred, um, they're all these ambulance companies are really struggling. Okay, and
Terrible.
and they're ending up with huge holes in their budgets. And the Walk-In Ambulance Company is no different than any of the other volunteer ambulance companies in and around New York altogether. And so you're seeing these districts pop up. I think I did a video about this the other night about the ambulance company. I'll be the first one to say I don't think George and the town board did their due diligence properly. I don't think they read the RFP. I don't think they know what they're doing. I sent a long letter to the town board. Yes, I do that sometimes.
You do that
Just
all
for
the
my
time.
own,
What are you talking
just
about?
for my own amusement. I know nobody's ever going to see it, and I know it's never going to go anywhere. And I know you, the public, never get to see the shit that I do behind the scenes.
The foil,
Right,
the foil
right, the
requests.
foils and all that kind of crap. But I did send a letter. At the end of the day, right? You look at the city of Middletown. City of Middletown, they're paying about $600,000 a year to Empress to administer their ambulance district because they did the same thing. The town of Waukegan is looking at paying 1.3 million. Okay, it's not due to the size of your municipality, right? Like it actually has to do with revenues derived from your municipality. Okay,
Okay.
so in other words, if you're doing a district like this, right, like the city of Middletown, they have a lot of calls. So because they have a lot of calls, the ambulance company is getting the revenue from those calls, okay, and that will allow them to reduce the cost that they charge you. So they're only charging you to have the dedicated ambulance there, right? And then they take all the revenue. Okay, it's a very simple model, and it makes sense when it's done the right way. Here in the town of Waukegan, you know, based on what I know it costs to, because I did this analysis with another municipality, I don't see like 1.3 million pays for your entire ambulance district,
Yeah.
right? Like, so I'm having a difficult, and it pays for your equipment, it pays for your ambulance, it pays for the people, it pays for everything. And there's no revenue. Like, I'm curious as to know what's happening with the revenue side of things,
Yeah.
right? When you're paying that much money, it should, and you have a town our size where we have the hospital,
Yeah.
okay, and you have a lot of calls, right, and a lot of money is being derived. I would have liked to have seen the revenues being derived, right, and what the offset is to the expenses that the town is paying, right. I think from a standpoint as a resident, I know what they're charging us is to be very expensive. It's a very expensive ambulance district comparatively to what other municipalities are paying.
Got it.
So is it necessary to have something like this? Yes. Should you have better negotiators and business people managing it for you to ensure proper negotiations and a good contract for your municipality? You should absolutely have that.
Yeah.
Is this town board that? No. So make your decision whatever way you want. My personal opinion is knowing the type of negotiator Frank is, I would certainly rather see Frank negotiate this contract than to have this board negotiate this contract.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, you're going to get different results.
There you
And
go.
I think the result that you'll get with Frank will be actually a lot better for the residents of this town in terms of not only the taxes that they pay, but the benefits that you derive from it.
Well, there you go.
Attention to detail. It really comes down to attention to
Yeah.
detail.
Yeah. That's what it comes down to. So
You know.
there you go.
Hopefully, did I answer your question, Ollie? Probably more so than you wanted.
Neil always
As I
likes
do
to
with
make
most
sure
people.
everything is really, really explained, which I think is important. I think it's important.
Nuance is important. Details are important. Like I hate this idea that we don't have like what do you want me to say? Yeah, I think these guys are idiots and it's a bailout. Okay, I answered your question. Like that, but that really doesn't answer the question because there's more to it than that. That's all.
Eh, all right.
I don't know. Did I answer your question, Ollie? Or are you
There may be a delay in the
Yeah.
time it takes for the answer
for
to
him to
pop
hear
up.
what I have to say? Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, let me see where we're at here. I'm actually.
You had a
and let-
question the other. You had a question the other day about taxes. Did I answer your question the other night?
Me?
Yeah, you had a question. You sent me a text about a question regarding taxes, and I wasn't sure if I answered it.
Oh my God, I don't even remember. You probably did. You probably did. And
Okay.
yes, he agrees 100%. So yeah, there is a delay between our conversation and the time they
Yeah.
get to hear the response. So, but no, what was my it was probably related to the potential overpayment. Um,
Yeah, you were kind of like, and that's what really got me into wanting to do the presentation was sort of that interaction between us because it just shows me the gap that there is between
that's
people's
exactly what it
understanding
was.
of their taxes
No, I
and
sent you a
you know
text, and I
yeah.
wanted to. I wanted to because, okay, so this is for those that might remember. You have to go back and look at our videos. Um, Last week, Neil had showed some clips from that meet and greet that the candidates went over to the Wildflowers for. It wasn't a debate, but it was just getting in front of people at the Wildflowers to introduce themselves and sort of state their case. And it was oddly revealed by Ralph Carr, who, let's not forget that his first video advertisement said, "There's nothing wrong with the finances, just a problem reporting them." Okay. And then our videos came out where we said there's all kinds of shit going on with the finances, particularly that long uh, 2-part episode that we did a few weeks ago. And so he did a follow up postcard that actually I have it. Is this? Yeah, I have it sitting here. Is this it? No, you actually sent it to me. It said, "Oh, Bond 101. Yeah, we'll get our bond." Basically, admitting that we now have a bond rating problem because nobody had known,
Right.
and nobody
We
had
broke
known
that
about.
news. We broke that news.
We broke that news, man. And we broke it and got it out there. Now everybody knows about it. So thank you for sharing that and carrying that news. But that happened in April of 2024, and it didn't come out until last month. So that's a serious problem. That just shows how much is being concealed from us. But I think what happened was Ralph was talking about how we now have problems. He's now admitting that there's problems on one hand in his responses to the audience at the Wildflowers. But then he lets reveal, pointing to the fact that we haven't had audits done in years, right? Then he points to at the end of 2022, when we had the last audit that was done, that all of a sudden that there was a $12 million surplus in the bank account. Well, how the hell is that supposed to happen? You're supposed to be, when you do your budget, you base your budget on what you anticipate spending, and then you tax according to that budget, which of course is screwed up because nobody has any audits done. So if you have $12 million left over, then you overcharged us. That was my question. Is that what that means? Does that mean that we were overcharged to the tune of $12 million when we should have, that was my question. That I think was my question. What does
That's a really complex answer.
Yeah.
That's not a yes or no question. Yes, you were overtaxed to the tune of $12 million. I have no idea. We won't know that number. It's okay to have a certain amount of money in the bank account that you float from year to year. So at year end, you may have more money depending. So there's a really you really can't look at your cash at year end and make any type of determination, right? Because what most people don't understand is you repay your retirement once a year. Okay? You can either pay it in December or you could pay it in January. Okay?
Right.
And because that, not to quote South Park here, but that's a really big nut. Okay. That is a really big nut, right? I mean, you could be talking in the town of Walk Hillside, you could be talking $1 million or more for that, right?
Yeah.
So you think about it, right? If you pay it in December, well, all right, then that money is not going to show up in your account. But if you decide to pay that in January, then all of a sudden in your December 31 financials, it's going to look like you have more cash than you really do, right? That's why you
Okay.
can't. That's why looking at saying how much cash you have is a really dumb metric, especially when you're looking at cash from 3 years ago, right? Like, which was what
Yeah.
Ralph was pointing to, right? Because it doesn't take into account any of your liabilities, any of your obligations, right? When those obligations are paid, right? It doesn't take into account, like, that's why you really need like a cash flow, right? Which is what I've been advocating for. I don't need to know my cash position at any given point in time. What I need to know is how the money is moving in and out of my bank account,
Right.
right? Am I going to have enough money that's going to get me from, December 31 to when I actually start getting the cash, right, at the end of February or mid-February? Okay? So like there are like things that you have to think about in that. And then again, with the way these guys operated, their budgets are garbage. Like
Yeah, right?
they're not indicative of anything. You can watch that budget presentation. You have no idea what's going to occur next year,
Yeah.
right? You don't know what they're buying. You don't know what projects they got going on in town next year. What long-term projects does the town have? You don't know what's getting fixed up. You have really no idea. Again, you can't plan for the future if you're stuck in the past. And that's what these guys are. They're stuck in the past and they can't there's no future planning here. There's nothing.
Yep.
And so then you're relegated to, well, what's my fund balance number, which fund balance is in cash, so you can't spend fund balance, you can only spend cash, and now you don't know how much cash you have, you don't know how much fund balance you have no idea,
So
right? I
this
mean,
is this is
right.
this is why we need to make our votes count. Maybe if we do the right thing, we can maybe steal back Neil from Chester. Sorry, Chester, and get him to look at the books. Oh,
Listen, there, you know, as you could talk to any financial person. 3-year old financial information won't tell you anything.
yeah. They won't tell you where
All
you are
right.
today.
And if you don't have and if you're stuck 3 years ago, you can't plan for the future. And nobody Ralph Carr loves to come around and say that he's a financial expert because he was a banker, right? Then you should be telling people exactly what I'm saying. You don't know what you don't know. And until you get to the point when you do know, you don't know. Right? And that's what people didn't like, I guess, about me was the fact that I wasn't willing to make definitive statements one way or the other about stuff I didn't know. And they were. Right? But all that tells me is they were willing to lie to you about your money, and I was not. Right? And again, I have a license that says I have to meet certain ethical standards,
Right.
right? Which I do. Okay, they don't have that standard. Okay, when you look, and I mention that for one specific reason. Dave Furlan is not a lawyer.
Right.
Okay, he does not have to meet any of those minimum ethical standards that a lawyer has to meet.
Good
Okay,
point.
you could talk about ethics all you want. He could talk about ethics. Maria could talk about it. At the end of the day, there are no ethical standards that minimum ethical standards. And we saw that with his handling of how he handled the police scandal in 2001,
Yeah.
right? We know what happens when these guys get in office. George Myers, right, who was a town justice over in Newburgh, okay, had to resign because of ethical issues on the board. And the state came in and said, you can no longer run for political law. You can no longer run for a town justice position. Not only do we want you out, but you can no longer run for a position because these ethical, and again, it takes years to build that type of case where an agency can come in and say that. Is this really what town of Waco residents really want,
No,
you know?
no.
I mean, at least get somebody who knows the law, who has minimum ethical standards that they have to meet, right, to keep their license. Because at the end of the day, that's how people like me make our living. We
Yeah,
make our living via our license. And if we don't have that, then we got nothing.
yeah.
Okay? And these guys don't have any of that. They don't give a shit. They can lie to you all they want. They can tell you your finances are great. Hey, your finances are great. Keep giving them to me. Keep giving me
Yeah.
that money. Keep giving me that money. Right?
Oh my
Like, that's
God.
what you get. Keep giving me that money. I love that money. Right? Love that money. Your finances are great. I'm making you lots of money. Right? I'm sure that that's exactly what Bernie Madoff said.
Oh
I'm making you
yeah.
lots of money. You're earning 20%. Give me more. You're earning 20%. Just keep giving it to me.
Oh, we
Until you
saw how
find
that went.
out. Right. Until you find out you got no money. Or
Just
you
on a
got no
side
bond
note,
rating.
just a side note, never has there been a human being named so appropriately as in Bertie made off with your money.
Right.
I remember that because I was working in the city in law, and at the time, and my office is 2 blocks over from the building he was in, and my friend Pat, she's passed on, so R.I.P. to my friend Pat, but she was working in the building when all this shit was going down, because her office was her law office. She worked for another prominent, now that name forget the escapes me, but yeah, she worked in the same building. So, like she was there when like they were coming in and tearing apart the office. Good times. And apparently, an attorney I worked for, the partner that I worked for, who I've mentioned, that was Kurt. He must have had some dealings with Madoff, because he had a little private folder there, that said Madoff. So I don't know what happened there, but yeah, that was terrible. That was terrible. That, by the way, is a real Ponzi scam. Social Security is not, to quote Elon Musk, who thinks it is. But yeah, that's a real Ponzi
Oh,
scam.
listen, they've been saying that for forever and ever, right? And that's just them trying to privatize our money,
Yeah,
you know? Again, keep giving us your money. Keep giving us your money. We're not taking anything. Just keep giving it to us. Listen,
sure,
keep believing that
sure.
crap. Keep believing that crap. Like at the end of the day, the only people that are getting hurt are you. Like
That's right.
we all have to like do a little bit better. You know, um, you know, I don't think I was anything special when I ran, right? To be honest with you, right? I was just an average accountant, just wanting to fix the town's finances and hopefully, provide some answers related to that, and maybe try to find ways that I could reduce people's taxes and provide better services. That was it. I wasn't going to do anything flashy. I wasn't going to do anything like crazy, you know. As it relates to development, that really came. I would get the board. I mean, the board would have to be involved.
Yeah,
Um, that wasn't it wasn't me. Like all these people made up all these stories about me. Can I just tell you? I just want to say this. There were so many stories about me. Okay. And I don't really get it, because everybody who's like gotten to know me says the same thing. Says what I heard about you really isn't true. Like
because
you're
because
so
they were
different than what
threatened.
I thought you were.
Because they are threatened. This is and this seems to be the way politics are now. It's
Right.
point your finger, they're bad, we're good. They don't say anything good that they do. They just
Right.
say they're bad. But don't you think we're good? Why? What are you doing that's good? Right?
Listen, I used to walk into like people don't understand like the hostility I walked into these meetings with, right? Like it wasn't had nothing to do with me, right? Like I used to walk into meetings, right? And Mark Coyne would immediately turn to me and say, "Oh, the only good Democrat is a dead Democrat."
What kind of shit is
Like,
that?
I literally just walked into the fucking room, dude. Like, seriously? You know, like, and he wasn't joking about it. Like, it wasn't like
No.
it was like a big joke to him. It was like that was it. You know, I mean, it was sort of like enough's enough. You know, like I just wanted to do a good job. That was it. I really like my whole thing was is I really just wanted to do a good job. Did
And
I
you
always
did.
make did I always make the right decision? No. Do I regret some of the decisions that I made? Yes. I think we all do. Do I know a lot more now than I did when I first started with the board? Yeah, I would do a number of things differently. But I did a lot of good too, you know? So, it's sort of like you take the good with the bad, you get that people make mistakes, you got to give people an opportunity to learn and grow. But when people are so stubborn and refuse to get out of their own way,
Yeah.
right? Like these guys are, right? Then they got to go.
Yep. So that's where we
I
are.
mean, and that's sort of where we are. And it's not just local, it's everywhere. We're seeing it everywhere,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. You got to drink that water.
Oh, seriously, I'm like I need like 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna mute you for 2 seconds because I got a cough and I don't want to cough into the mic.
No. Okay, go. The things we have to do. So, anyway, I know Neil has to go and eat pretty soon. Oh, look, his green screen has been moved. We can see what's going on back there. Ah! Oh, no. Oh, he moved his chair. That's why. Um, you feel better now? He's got to unmute us.
Oh my
Better?
God. Woo. Yeah, a little bit.
All right.
I think that's my sign to
Yeah.
sign off.
Yeah,
I
we're
think we've
gonna.
been on for a couple hours though.
We have. We've been on for a couple hours just to test this out. Um, let me know what you think in the comments. The comments will still be there because this will end and it'll still be there hopefully. But I might pop out excerpts and create some smaller videos out of this. And let me know. Do you want to do this again? Maybe we can make a weekly live chat where we're on for like an hour or so. Let me know what you think if you would want to engage with that. It's a great way to just kind of let us know what's going on, tell us what's going on in the community.
We would
Not
love to
even
talk about different topics other than finance. So
or
yes,
politics or something
give
other
it
than
give it
politics.
yeah give us topics, people, that you want to hear about in this community or in the town or anything you want to know about. It doesn't have to be government related. Maybe there are groups that you want to learn more about. Let us know. We're here. We wanna help in any way we can.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. So anyway, we're gonna wind up. Thank you so much for joining us. Really do appreciate this. And first of all, thanks for all your support. For those of you who have already liked, shared, and subscribed, please keep doing that so we can grow this. We want to get up to, well, we'd like to get our first 1,000 subscribers. We got past our first 100, and we're working our way up. But, tell your friends and just keep watching. We really appreciate it. Love you guys, and we will see you soon. Take care,
Peace out.
everybody.